Hey guys, today we're going to talk about avoiding drugs that are going to mess with your mind. So, as you know, I have always spoken regarding the inability to be able to process certain emotions like grief, like negative emotions that ultimately are going to break you down. And so why am I saying all this? Mainly, I had a loss. In 2 days from now, it will be 11 years since I lost my first daughter, Edith. She was, man, that was a tough one to overcome. You're not fully healed. You do get sad. And there are things that you're able to do, so you're not willing or unwillingly get back into that destructive type of mentality. So let me explain. She had a terrible situation. Her lungs were way too small. And because of that reason, her lungs collapsed. Anybody, any mom or dad would go through a horrendous situation. Her father, my ex-husband, had Asperger's syndrome, meaning that he didn't process emotions the way that we do. He was more like a logical type of person. Therefore, he just moved on right away. He did feel down, but not necessarily processed the same emotions that you and I process when going through losses such as grief. And so some of the steps that I took to be able to heal that I want to share with you today, you know someone that is going through this type of situation, or maybe somebody that has gone and is currently going through this, are always going to be to look around and look at the people that you have in your life. If you're somebody who's caring, somebody who's loving, somebody who wants to basically change the world, change humanity, you have a huge purpose, you're gonna be throwing a lot of tomatoes. And if we're not careful with our surroundings, with the people that we associate with, then if they're toxic, we need to let them go. We need to run away from these people to get all these toxic people out of my life. So we were extremely vigilant and extremely careful, not listening to people that are also grieving. So don't associate with people that are going to basically be complainers and have victim mentalities, because you yourself don't want a victim mentality. And so that's important. We need to learn and accept that we can't change the course of what's happening. Another one is my cousin lost her mother. We lost our aunt through COVID, and she was a government employee for people with welfare. She approved them. And she literally said, I couldn't continue to listen to all these people complain, and it brought me down and I was more depressed. So I just went back into the military, and then he's been in Korea teaching ESL ever since. And so changing your surroundings. Of course, don't make any harsh decisions. I wanted to sell my house and just basically run away. We took a trip. We qualified at that moment for a 1 month abroad to Europe. And so it was very healing for myself and my family, my parents, my sister. And it allowed us to Morocco, where there is a lot of poverty, real poverty. Before that, we had gone to India to another trip, and then we saw people live outside of our surroundings, because when you're comfortable, you think all these things are happening to us, then we become a victim mentality. Another one was my diet. I incorporated a healthier lifestyle. Fortunately, at the time, I was able to fight depression. I did go and take antidepressants because it was too much, and then I weaned off of it. I don't recommend it because eventually you're gonna have to deal with those facts. Next, changing my surroundings, hanging out with positive people, changing your diet, maybe take a trip. It doesn't have to be away, it could just be around here. And so all these things made a huge difference in my life, in everything that signified what we were going through. And so along with a lot of prayer, a lot of questions, and not being angry with God or your higher power, because it wasn't their fault. God in his ultimate wisdom for me chose for my daughter not to suffer the life that I have. And so that alone alone, being a Shriner's kid, having 31 surgeries obviously does not help. You can get out of it. That's the main thing. You don't have to continue to be depressed for the rest of your life. Spiritual healing is a huge deal as well. Retreats and such. And above it all, changing your mind. I went from being a very negative nurse, because we're taught to look for what's wrong, and that's what we get paid for. And flipping my mind, I remember it started around 4 to 5 months later, and it just basically became a positive mind. I don't know how to explain it. So these are the tips that helped my family and I get over this horrible moment in our life. And when other family members were really upset about everything, and they were right to be upset, we helped them with our faith meter, also known as increasing your vibration. And our faith meter actually allowed us to regain faith, to understand that it wasn't meant to be at that point, that God in his ultimate wisdom chose to lose my daughter and then lose my ex-husband. And so closing that chapter, not giving anybody anything negative to talk about, because they're gonna say it anyways, but you don't enable them. Don't pick fights with people. I know that you're angry. I chose to build an empire because I thought to myself, I will never be this hurt again in my life, so might as well do something. And I'm thankful that I did that, because I felt I wanted to be home with my family and I wanted to be home with my future baby. And it happened. I was able to be with her, and thankfully I feel like God blesses you tremendously. So I hope that these tips help you, help your family, help the grief that you're currently going through, and ultimately help you alleviate the pain that you have gone through. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you felt, how you got over it, or in the process or getting over it, or maybe if you just really are angry. That is an ugly face. So take care. Make sure that you're surrounded by good people with good energy, with good vibes, that are people that are like you, that uplift you.